Hello the internet, my name's Laura and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a plant haul. I know it's been kind of a while since we did a plant haul. Those of you who do remember that I got a whole bunch of plants in July, and so I have gotten a lot of growth or changes out of a lot of them already, and so I kind of want to show them to you guys because it's just, I'm excited about it. The lighting is a little weird. I got a new camera app and I'm still trying to figure it out, so yeah. Okay, so if you would like to see my plant haul, stick around. Okay, so in July I had a little bit of an impromptu run up to Maryland. So I was able to go to one of my favorite nurseries up there called Valley View Farms. And I ended up picking up a decent number of plants from there. So that's where we're gonna start. I'm gonna remember which ones I got from there. Okay, well, let's just start with this guy. Okay, so I gave another shot to an alocasia poly because I really would like to be able to take care of one of these. This one is probably the plant that I have that has changed the least since I got it. The only thing that it has attempted to do was, you guys can see in here, it started to put out a new leaf, and then the leaf kind of is not doing so well in the middle. I think it's pretty much rotting off in there. I don't exactly know what that's from, but this, besides that, it's not really doing much. Like the leaves themselves all look healthy. Like they're not, it doesn't seem like I'm underwatering it. I looked up and saw alocasias do actually like to be a little bit pot bound, and so even though the roots in there are kind of a little bit tight at this point, I'm not planning on like the only thing that I can think of is that maybe it would like a little bit more humidity. Like I said, it's usually around 50 to 60, it's between 50 and 60 humidity down here all the time. I have not had to have my humidifiers running ever since we got into warmer weather, because obviously the heaters were just taking all of the moisture out of the air and it was terrible. And now that I live in a naturally fairly humid environment. But I know that people often have trouble with these, and usually when people have trouble with a plant and they don't really know what the problem is, it can tend to be humidity. And so part of me almost wants to fire up the humidifier again, just the little one, because I definitely don't need the both of them. For those of you who don't know, I have a room humidifier that my mom got for me that's like a beast. It's like got the huge tank, and then I have a littler humidifier that's just like a when you're sick type of humidifier. And that's the one I think I want to set up again and maybe put some of these plants that really would like a little bit more humidity, and you'll see I've got a couple more and that you're going to see later. Get those into just being right next to a humidifier. So this guy not doing badly, except because I mean the leaf problem could also be just the transport. And the settling into a new place. So it might not, I might be overreacting completely. But my other alocasia poly never even tried to put out a leaf, so I don't know. And my other alocasias doing great. So I just want to figure this one out and see how that goes. So that was one of the first plants. I also from Valley View got this Michaelis Finale. Michaelis Finale. I look at it every time because I feel like I'm saying it wrong, but so it just put out, let's see, It had, why can I not tell which is the newest leaf? This leaf was just coming out when I got it. And it is turning a beautiful, beautiful color. And then this leaf has just now come out. And it is far, far darker red than this one was. Because when this one was just finishing unfurling when I got it. And it was ridiculously orange. Like gorgeous, gorgeous orange. And then this one came out, and this one is far, far, far redder than this one was. And I'm wondering if this one's going to fade through the orange and then eventually to the, this orange green. That I'm just in love with all of these leaves. And I'm not sure if, because I know that the shape, like with these little lobes here, is because it's a more mature plant than my philodendron Prince of Orange that I have. But I'm wondering if these, like the veining here, because you can see how pronounced the veining is. And on my philodendron Prince of Orange, like there's not nearly that kind of veining on here. Like the plant is pretty solid all the way through. It's got, like this one's one of the ones that's faded, and it's got the line up here, but it doesn't have any veins coming out the side. And I don't know whether that's because this one is a more mature plant, and so it just is different, or if this is part of why it's a Michaelis Finale, is because it has this veining. If it is, super fan of this plant over that one. If that one's going to turn into looking more like this, I know that eventually it might get the leaf shape, but if it starts getting the veining on there, then, you know, that's great too. But really, really a fan of this plant. It's been growing really well for me. Like I said, I had this leaf coming out when I got it, and now I have this other new leaf. And it is a little smaller, obviously, but, you know, I don't have as ideal conditions in my house as they have in the greenhouse. So, you know, there's going to be a little bit. And this guy here is actually another, let's see if can you even see it? This guy here? Yeah, that guy there is a new leaf coming, like, already. So, plant seems to be pretty happy, and I'm pretty happy with it. Just the color is just really amazing. So, Michaelis Finale. I also bought watermelon Pepperomia from Valley View, and this plant has not done a lot, but the tiny little, it had a whole bunch of little leaves that were growing, and those have continued to grow. They're not growing super fast, but I'm being very cautious about the watering of this because these seem like fairly succulent leaves to me, and so I don't want to overwater it. And I'm hoping that once it finishes settling into my house, it'll start growing more quickly. And I don't know, watermelon Pepperomias might just not be super fast growing plants in the first place. I just know that I really, really like the leaves, and I'm super excited about them getting much bigger because they're just really cool looking. I love the silver stripes on them. I know you guys can't really, really tell, but I love the silver stripes. I also got, what did I get? This Calico kitten. Hasn't done a whole lot of growth, though I did find that there was a little piece that had gotten knocked off. Not sure if you can see it down in there, right down in there. And it had started to grow roots on it, so I put that in there, and hopefully that will start to grow, and then this whole thing will start to grow. I put this one under my, I have, you can see here, I have my white lights, and then I have my annoying pink and blue lights that kind of fell out of vogue. They're really good grow lights, unfortunately. And things that I put under there actually get some of the sun stress. Like, I don't know. Things I put under there kind of get the sun stress, and so I've been trying to put a little bit more color back on this guy, because like you can see these ones over here really have the purple, I guess the Calico, and these ones over here are more green and white. And so I've been trying to put put some more of the sun stress on them so that these ones that are more green will be more pink, because come on, it's just prettier. But this guy's been doing really well. Oh yeah, he's got a couple of new grow points down in there that I think he didn't have before. So it might just be that this guy is growing and I can't really tell. One of those plants where like you're like, it's not doing anything, and then you go back and you look at any old photos or any old video you have of the plant and you're like, it's like a million times bigger. I did that with my my light prints, which I don't have out here anymore. But like, it was literally like yay big when I got it. And it's grown really, really slowly, but now it's like starting to, I mean, it's like, it's gotten really big, and I just didn't notice. So, one that I have been able to notice the growth on, however, is my Pepperomia prestrata. And the little tendrils on this guy have just been growing like crazy. Which I'm really, really happy about because it's adorable, and there is even a tiny little flower in there, and I don't think you're going to be able to see it. I know, this lighting is bad. I'm really going to have to figure out the lighting. But there's a tiny little flower in there, and this guy is just really exploding with growth. And he's not very big yet, but I am super, super happy because I've wanted a string of turtles for a really, really long time, and now I finally have one. And it's growing really well. And since I am not too bad at taking care of succulents, I should be able to take pretty good care of this. Not that this is a succulent, but it is a succulent type plant. It has the succulent type leaves. It does not want to be watered very much. I'm wondering if I wouldn't be good at string of hearts, because I know a lot of people have a lot of trouble with those, and I feel like it's probably the same thing, is they don't want to be watered, and a lot of people are like, oh, but I want to water you. I want to love you. Let me love you. And I'm one of those people who's like, oh, I haven't watered my begonias in like a week. I should probably do that before they die. Who else did I get? Oh, this Haworthia, which I brought it home. Let's see, it's called Haworthia pentagona. Pentagona? I got it because I was so interested in the green and the red, and I brought it home and put it under my normal white lights, and it reverted back to green like really fast. And so then I stuck it under my pink lights, and it has gone back to having the red and green stripes again on it. So I'm probably going to have to keep it under there. I have mixed luck with Haworthias. I love them. They do not always love me. This plant has not put on a ton of growth since I've gotten it. Just a little bit. But the problem I tend to have with Haworthias is the problem that I'm having with my Spexii and my Tessellatas back here. Is I cannot seem to find the amount of light that they want between being stretching, because these are all obviously very, very stretched, and getting too much light. Because if I put these under my grow light here to give them a little bit more light that is like direct or whatever, they gray out. Like, I know that sounds weird. The leaves literally turn gray, which could be a sun stress thing, but it's very unattractive. Like, it's not like the red sun stress or the, whatever. It's like the plant does not look happy or healthy at all. And so this plant is looking fine and healthy. It's just all over the place. And so I love it. And one of these days I'm really going to have to figure out, because, the same thing with this, I love it. But if you can look down here, all these leaves are like short and compact. And then as it goes up, they just get longer and thinner and stretchier. And I don't know. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of options of windows that I could test them in. You know where I might test them? I'm staring at a window that I have. It's one of those really high You know, the windows in the basement where it's like high because it has to be above the ground level. I have one of those over there. I'm totally going to try these Haworthias up in that window. I won't be able to see them because it's kind of out of the way, but if they grow real well up there, I'll be okay. All right, so new plan for the Haworthias. We're going to give that a shot. Totally not what this video is about, but that's okay. All right, so those are the plants that I got from Valley View Farms. And then right before I had left, because it was an unplanned trip, I had ordered some plants from My Green Obsession, which was an Etsy page that turned into a website, and I had been watching them for a while. And I finally pulled the trigger on buying those plants, and they were in the mail when I had to go up to Maryland, so I came back with 2 sets of plants, which is awesome. But anyway. What do I want? Okay, this guy I'm actually really happy about. So, I bought my first Sundew, and he's sitting in water, so I'm trying to squeeze him out a little bit so I can actually put him close to the camera. When I got him, all of his little dewdrops had come off. So you can see all those little dewdrops that are on the end of the thing. Those have finally come back. He's looking very happy. He had started to lose his color, because you can see the lower leaves have like red on them. I wonder if I can do this. I don't know if that's too much light or not. It looks like it's just whiting the whole thing out. The lower leaves are red. And so I put it back under my pink grow light here, and now the little hairs are starting to come in more red, which is like what the plant was doing in the first place. So I think it's liking that. It has also caught a number of gnats, which I am like, yeah, because the plant is being happy, my gnats are dying, and I just think this plant is so cool. And it's got like a ton of new growth like in the center there. It just keeps like putting out new leaves. And then the older leaves just kind of shrivel away and die, which, okay, I mean, that's how plants do. But anyway, super, super happy with this guy. I'm so glad he got his little dew back, and he's doing very, very well. And he just sits in a bowl of water because that's just what I do to keep him happy. Oh, I moved this, didn't I? That's okay. Okay. Oh, I forgot about this guy. So this guy I didn't get from Valley View, but I did get him up in Maryland. And he was one of the ones that had the decorative flower on. Luckily, the decorative flower came off without doing too much damage, and I was just in love with him because I like the kind of dark or red spines with the green. And then I really like the patterns on this type of cactus. And I had never seen one before. So I picked him up, and when I did, he was super underwatered. Like, I was squeezing him, and he was really soft, and I was hoping that it wasn't from overwatering, and I didn't think it was because the soil was, like, ridiculously dry. And so I took the chance and brought him home. I think it was only like $3 or $4, something like that. And I've thrown some water at him and then let it dry out, and thrown some water, and he's finally starting to feel like an actual cactus should, like, you know, firm. And so he's doing really well. A little bit of growth. I think these little offshoots here were not quite that big when I first got him, but I don't really get cacti because I expect them to grow. I mean, like, that sounds weird, but because they grow so slow, I don't really expect them to grow. I get them because I like the way that they look. It's the same thing with my this guy. I don't think he's really grown much, if at all, but he just looks cool, you know. That's cacti for me, or at least that's the way I do cactus. You guys might do cactus differently. But anyway, I didn't want to forget about him because I did not get him from My Green Obsession or Valley View. He was from Home Depot. That's why there was the faux flower. Luckily, I have never seen the faux flowers or the painted crap in any actual nursery because... okay, so what else did I get? Oh, so this guy, I'm really, really happy about this. So this was the Asian violet that I got. I know that they like to be watered from underneath, so I actually got this tiny little jar, and I just fill it with water, and then I just set him back in there, and he sucks up all the water that he wants. And he has gotten, I don't know if you guys can tell, but like even I can tell he's gotten so much bigger since I got him. These leaves were super tiny. These leaves were smaller. I mean, he's just rocking it. Like, and I love the white markings on the leaves. And he's just growing and being happy, and I'm like so happy because I really had no idea what I was doing with this plant. I got it because I kind of wanted to try an Asian violet because the leaves, as opposed to African violet, the leaves are actually interesting, so it doesn't bother me a ton if it never flowers. And so I wanted to try it out, and it's actually doing really well. And so I'm super excited. Isn't that cute? The leaves are fuzzy, but I don't know how much they like to be touched. I'm like, for some reason, so I know that African violets and begonias, Rex begonias, are kind of like the old people plants. And so I kind of grew up assuming that they were super hard to take care of because so many people had them, like that I knew, like older people had them. And so African violets were just like this thing where you looked at them when you went to visit, like in, I guess, my parents' friends. I went to visit my parents' friends and they would have them. And they were just the type of thing where it was like, oh, that's so beautiful, but I could never do that. And so I had that like in my mind. And it's kind of transferred over to the Asian violet a little bit too, where it's like I'm almost scared to touch it because it feels like it's the type of plant that's like sitting in somebody's home and you just don't mess with it, you know? Probably gonna get over that eventually if it continues to do well. I mean, I definitely got over it with Rex begonias, but there were more, I feel like there were more African violets around, so. But I wonder if can you guys even see all the little hairs that are on top of there? Isn't that just, I just love this plant. I really do. I didn't think I was gonna like this plant quite this much. It's really kind of cool. So, got this guy. He is doing super well. Then we have my Black Fancy, which truthfully also hasn't done that much, but at the same time, it's definitely not degenerated in any way. And it said on the website that this is a slow grower. So, like there's this tiny little baby leaf coming in here. That might be new. It might have already been growing in and I just didn't notice because it was kind of like under there. But the leaves on this plant are really healthy. They're looking really good. They're looking spirally and adult-like. And so I'm just kind of watering in it and letting it go because that's kind of what I do with my begonias. I, knock on wood, have never had problems with pests on any of my begonias. And when they get dry, I water them. And I put them all in this window here. I think all of them, except my taconite. But the taconite's pretty close. So I put all my begonias in this window here, and they just seem to do pretty well. The exception to that has been the other two plants, the other two begonias that I got from my Green Obsession. I don't think they're doing poorly. I just think that the old leaves were used to a certain amount of humidity, and so they're just crisping because they don't have the amount of humidity they want. But I have gotten, this is the Begonia Red Planet. This is the reason that I got this whole order, because I just thought that the markings on the leaves were so cool. But even though these leaves, the adult leaves, have been crisping, I have a new leaf growing on each of the baby, or a new baby leaf growing on each of the plants. I think that, yeah, there's 3 plants in here. And they are all looking perfectly fine. That one's got a lot of red on it. That's so cool looking. I wonder if you guys can see that. Can you see that? Look with that, with all the red on that. Isn't that cool? This one kind of has a lot of red too, but it's harder to see. That one's more green. Oh, never mind. There's a 4th. Yeah, so the plant itself is happy. Just like I said, the older leaves, I think, were just used to a certain amount of humidity, and I just don't have it in my house. It's just not the same environment. And so I pinched off 2 or 3 leaves. It's still got a pretty decent number of leaves on it. And then the fact that it's still growing, I'm not worried about it at all. I think it's just a matter of the new leaf. 5 baby leaves. This plant is doing fine. I think it's just a matter of it growing in my environment, and I think it's going to be fine. And then same thing is happening with the Deco Daddy, where the edges of these leaves have just crisped, because it might have even been the transport, I don't know, because it hasn't really gotten much worse since I've gotten it home. And this one does not like to stay still in here, but it's putting out this new leaf there that's been doing perfectly fine. I mean, it's growing like a baby leaf should. And I think that needs to be watered. So I'm looking really, truthfully, I guess this is the first time that I've ever gotten begonias. Yeah, this is the first time I've ever gotten begonias through the mail, too. So it's possible that this is just what it's like. And I just hadn't had that experience, because all of the other begonias I have... Oh, no, that's not true. I got the 2 from Steve's Leaves, and those came in and were just gangbusters right from the beginning, and they didn't have an adjustment period or anything. And then the Begonia Griffin that I got from White Flower Farms, that came in and was rough. I lost a whole bunch of leaves off of that, but it's doing like gangbusters now. So, okay. Not the first time, but these guys have just been a little bit more, I don't know, affected by the transport or affected by my house or whatever. But they're still, like I said, they're still growing in baby leaves. They're still doing a good job. And so I'm looking forward to when these two plants, kind of settle in and really start to flourish. I really feel like I need to bury this deeper, because it's just wobbling everywhere, and I feel like it's just gonna snap off and die. This one's in there, it's not going anywhere. This one, I feel like if I turn it upside down, it's just gonna like fall out. So I might have to research how much of this plant part you're allowed to bury. Don't bury the part that has the leaves on it. I don't know. It's cool. It will be super interesting. If you're interested in knowing about that, let me know, and I will say that in a video at some point. I think that is all. That is all for my plant haul, though. So none of the plants are doing badly, which is great. And some of them are actually showing a decent amount of growth, and I'm still super excited about all of them. So let me know which one of these plants is your favorite. So, or tell me, which one of these plants you'd like to try and grow. And if you like this video, go ahead and like this video. If you want to stick around and see more of my content, go ahead and subscribe. And thank you very much for spending some of your very valuable time with me today. And I will see you guys in the next video. All right, bye-bye.